everybody, Jeri Bellini here from My Arts and Parts and My Year 2017, and I am here today to give you my version of this month's prompt, the January prompt, Confetti, Bubbles, and Bling. And this is my journal for the year, and it is a recycled sewing book, and I am doing the bullet journal theme, you might say. And look what I did, I just messed up all my pages. So my take on the prompt is a little weird, but we were encouraged to go there. So I am not a real big bling person. I prefer I don't know, happy stuff, but I just don't like sparkles. So what I decided to do was make bubble paper. And I am going to show you how I did that in a moment. And after I show you how I did that, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the paper. So I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm doing this a little backwards. I'm going to show you the paper I made first, and then I'm going to show you the technique. So this is made using soap, paint. You can use acrylic paint, you can use watercolor liquid, which is what I used. I used this, and I also used these inexpensive craft paints. So you use soap, paint, a little bit of water, straws, and that's pretty much it, paper. So I'm going to show you my my pages real quick, because I'm going to cut them up in a minute to show you something else. Okay, so and there is some bling in there. This is shiny. I used like a gold metallic paint. I didn't like this one. This one, I wanted to let you know, this one I used a can, like a cat food can, and when I set the paper down on top of the bubbles, I actually touched the lip of the can. So that is a whole nother look, you can see. And then this one. And they all look pretty similar because I use the same colors. So now we are going to get on with our project. Okay, before we start to make the pocket, I wanted to show you how I did the bubble prints. And I used Dawn dishwashing liquid. I used approximately 2 tablespoons to about a tablespoon of liquid watercolor paint. You could also use acrylic paint. I do prefer the watercolor paint. It gave me, I felt it gave me a more transparent look. Anyway, you add about a tablespoon of water, stir it with a straw, and you are ready to make bubble paper. Now, as you can see, I mixed up a bunch of colors ahead of time, so I could go from one to the next. And I'm telling you, you can't stop once you get started doing this. It's really fun. All right, now we're ready to make bubble paper. And all you have to do is take your straw and blow in there, and depending on how many bubbles you blow, your print will be either a smaller print or a larger print. So you can see there's a lot of bubbles here. The print is going to be a decent size. Now, you hover over the bubbles and you don't touch the rim of the can unless you want that to show in your print. You just hover, and I recommend you hover for 8 to 10 seconds. If you don't hover that long, I have found that you won't get a good print. The bubbles won't stick to the paper. Okay, now I'm using a different color and I'm going to fast forward through this part. It's only going to take another second and soon you will be making your own bubble paper. It's really easy. So get ready, go make some bubble paper and come back and we'll make pockets for your journal. And I'm going to use this piece of paper and I am going to make a pocket, and I'm going to put the pocket on the back of my monthly calendar page for January. So I will be right back and I will show you exactly how to make that pocket. Okay, here's the back of my monthly calendar. I took it out of the book, and that's part of the greatness of using a binder. You can take your pages out and work on them separately. So just FYI, what I want to do is measure where my holes are. I don't want to make my paper, my pocket, any bigger and cover my holes. So I decided to go 5.5 inches. That's 5.5 inches is right there. That'll just give me a little bit of room on either side of the paper. So here's my 5.5 inches. Okay, I cut that out. And here is another piece 5.5 inches wide by, this is 3.5 inches tall, and this the background paper is 8 1/8 of an inch tall. But now it really depends on the size of your book and your paper. So you get the general idea. I want to pretty much cover the back of this. All right, so I just cut those two papers, and now I'm just going to glue. Now don't use score tape. Make sure you use glue, and you can use all kinds of glue. You can use white glue. I like to use a glue that dries clear. I also have this Fabric Tac glue. This is really good glue. I love that. And I have whatever this is, Tombow liquid glue. They're all really strong glues and they all dry clear. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right along the 3 edges, and then I'm just going to stick that down. Real simple. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, the next thing I did is I got a little cardstock, or paper is fine too. It doesn't have to be thick, and I cut out some circles. I used my hole punch. I used 2 different sizes, and I decided to go with a raspberry color. And these are more bubbles. So now I'm going to just kind of decide where I want my bubbles to be. So now I'm going to glue those down, and I won't bore you with that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I glued down, and I always glue down an odd number. So I glued down 7 circles or fragments of them, and I always save these little pieces because I'm definitely going to make more pockets at some point. You know what? I think something needs to go up there. Everything is glued. I wanted to mention that you could use a glue stick to glue these down too if you don't want to use your craft glue. You just have to have a really heavy hand with the glue stick, and make sure you put plenty of glue. So after I have that all those glued down, I am going to punch the corners, and I have this really cool corner punch that We Are Memory Keepers that I got at the thrift store for $3.50. I'm here, sorry, $3.50. Yeah. And now I'm going to punch the corners. You don't have to punch the corners. I just like the way they look. Okay, and I think I'm going to leave these down here straight. So I just punched those 2. And you know, I decided while I was off camera, I decided to do a little stitching on here. So I'm going to do some stitching, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I stitched around the outside edge, and of course I ran out of thread. That doesn't bother me. I love stuff like that. And I stitched around it twice. And I'll show you the screw up. See right there? I stitched around it twice. I just like the way that looks. So while I was stitching, I said, you know, Jer, in the spirit of the prompt, you need to at least make an attempt at the bling and the confetti. So I killed two birds with one stone. I used my little hole punch and I cut out pieces of some sparkly paper that I had. And now I'm just going to kind of glue them down randomly. And I'll be back and I'll show you. Okay, so the last thing I did after I put the glued down my little confetti slash bling, I just took a pen, and I did have a hard time with the pen, I have to tell you, because this is soap in this paint, so it's a little slick. So I wound up using a black colored pencil, and just to give it a little definition. And then I took my white Uniball Signo pen and just kind of went on top of the pink. I'm thinking I'm going to write some words on here, but as you can see, I haven't done that yet. So the next thing, I'm going to glue it down to the back of my calendar page, and I am going to use double-sided tape for that because I don't want it to come off. And that's about it. That's my version of confetti, bubbles, and bling, and I hope you enjoyed my little pocket. I will be using this little pocket just to tuck little tags or whatever in that I'm saving for the month of January. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a blessed day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.